You're listening to the Outstanding Life Podcast with your host, Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. As a motivational speaker, Johnny D impacts audiences around the world with his message of living the outstanding life. He's a best-selling author, MC, and two-time Grammy-considered artist. This podcast is a place where Johnny D can introduce you to his outstanding friends and share funny, interesting, and heart-provoking stories. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Here comes your host, Johnny D.
Hey everybody, I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. Welcome to my live podcast. I tell you what, I am in the studio with one of my really great friends, Miss Sonia Crosby.
Hey, babe.
Hey, listen, did you just come here because you wanted to be on the show, or did you want to get away from your husband for a little while?
Oh, man, why you call me out like that?
Well, I can't thank you enough. With all this COVID stuff, we used to hang out all the time, and I haven't seen you in months.
That's right.
So I'm so blessed to have you on the show with me today.
Thank you, babe.
Did you see who we're going to have?
Oh, yeah, you told me a little bit about her. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I know you already did your homework on her too,
Absolutely.
because that's who you are, and that's what you do. Miss Sonia Crosby is a speaker. She's an author. She's a TV host. She's it, man. I can't thank you enough. But hey, it's enough about us. Let's talk about our guest.
Yes.
Miss Shellie Hunt she's in Canada right now, hanging out. Miss Shellie Hunt is the founder and CEO of the Women of Global Change, Success by Design, ReMake My Life LLC, and other multiple companies. Shellie has had the honor to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award from the White House and the President's Lifetime Achievement Award from President Obama. Shellie has been recognized by several branches of the U.S. government for her dedication, services, and work to include awards in areas of business leadership, mentorship, and entrepreneurship.
So awesome.
Miss Shellie Hunt, how are you? She went away.
Oh.
So that means she will be getting back on. So this is why when we do live things like this.
Oh, yeah.
And she's in Canada right now.
Right, yeah. Something always happens. But I'm so excited that she is here. And it's so amazing when you see strong and beautiful women who are doing things all over the world, not just the country.
And this girl is doing it all over the world, too. That's the cool part.
Yes, she
I think we got her. Do we got Shellie Hunt?
Hi.
All
There
right.
she is. Hi, Miss Shellie.
Shellie Hunt, this is my
you?
good friend Sonia Crosby. Sonia Crosby, Shellie Hunt.
It is a pleasure.
Hi, Sonia. Nice to meet you.
You too.
I am outnumbered here, so I got to really behave today during this show.
Yeah, you do.
Shellie, it is an absolute honor to have you on the show. You're in Canada right now.
I am. I'm in BC on the island. It's very different than the States, as you can imagine.
So
and I am in a beautiful rainforest. I came to hide in the rainforest and regroup.
I saw a video of you out looking for bears. I was like, you talk about this girl like living on the edge. Who goes out looking for bears?
Right.
Except for Shellie. My new friend, Shellie Hunt, looking for bears. And now, did any of them get close to you?
Yes. About the time I had given up and I thought, this is a fail, just like everything in life, right? I go, this is a fail. And I went and I sat on this blacktop and I'm just talking. And the next thing I know, I go, and there's the bear next to my door.
Whoa.
Yes. They found me.
Shellie, I was just letting everybody know about all the success that you have had throughout your career. But success, we see you now. I want to know, what was life like for you in the beginning? Where were you born? Where were you brought up? What was your lifestyle like back then?
Well, early on, and I know you asked me this, in private when we were talking yesterday. I literally grew up to a single mom under a house in the East Coast near Boston, Massachusetts, and had one pair of shoes at a time, a lot of love, and didn't really know I was poor until I saw Billy Noonan, who lived down the street and actually had a house to himself. And that was like a huge deal. I thought it was a mansion at that time.
Wow.
But literally one pair of shoes at a time, and now I have a lot of shoes.
My girl.
So when you said when you said you lived under a house, I mean, all the, people watching right now, they're like, come on, she couldn't be real when she says she lived under a house. Could you please tell that story?
Okay, so it's kind of funny because my mom would go, it's a basement apartment. And I'm like, a basement apartment doesn't have like cement walls and cement floors. And, she goes, but there was rug down there. I go, no, Mom, there was like a 1/4 inch of that padding, that come in little squares that you pull the sticky off and you put it on the floor. I'm like, that was really not rug. Okay.
Wow. So
yeah. No,
literally,
but not a lot of money.
Yeah. So when did you recognize that you had this gift to talk and to motivate and inspire? Because obviously, from a young age, you lived in a basement apartment, and now you own multiple companies. You're doing great things. At what age did you realize that, hey, you know what? I have a knack for a couple things. I mean, were you like one of those really smart girls that got straight A's and that you just knew that things were going to be good?
I think I was always a rebel. There are system makers and system breakers. Mm-hmm. And I think I started out as a system breaker. In some ways, I always felt like I had a calling to do something more on the face of the planet. But I started to really understand certain principles about, I started understudying people. Let me go here. And one of the things that I did is I started looking at people that were successful. And I went, oh, this one doesn't have an education. This one is whatever. This one is whatever. This one is whatever. And it started kind of breaking up some of the paradigms for me.
Yep.
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
And so even when I had my daughter, I was a single mom and I was pregnant with her by myself. And I had made the decision to have my daughter. And I looked at other people and said, okay, that woman survived.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That woman survived. Mm-hmm. Humanity survived. I'll survive this too. And, I think so many times we're giving ourselves comparisons to other people, especially as women. And Sonia, you might hear this, right?
Yes.
And, well, she's doing that, and this is what I don't have.
Right.
And this is what I don't have, instead of, wait, this is what I do have, and this is what I do have.
Yes.
And so I started to move into what I was good at, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And kind of lived in that space, I did meet some people along my journey. And so right around school age, I met a man called Alexander Everett. I met Bob Proctor, Tom Wilhite. There was a group of individuals that I met that were really the next wave of human potential.
Right.
And so I started to understudy a lot in regards to the subconscious mind and human latent programming. And so that just kind of added to my understanding of limitations and paradigms that we place on ourselves. So just thought I'd throw that in there.
It's incredible because so many people, they always say, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. They did it. They're special. Mm-mm. I can't do it. She did it or he did it. Do you think, though, that, and I'm going to ask both of you, because I was thinking about this last night. I was kind of intimidated by both of you because Sonia, you are one of the strongest women I know.
Oh, God bless you.
And Shellie, I mean, you are an amazing, amazing lady yourself. And do you think that women are wired differently to not hear, I can't, but I will, and I will show you?
Oh, well, one of my mother's favorite sayings was, I can show you better than I can tell you. And that has stuck with me forever. And my mom, my grandmother, they were very strong. And my mom is very strong.
Yeah.
They always told me, oh, you can do whatever you want to. You got to put the work into it.
That's right. Exactly.
But you can do what you want.
Yeah.
And that's what I went on believing. And when I wanted to do it, I did it.
Shellie, when you were going through this process, did you have those people that were naysayers and told you that, you're crazy, you're dreaming way too big? I mean, did you have a lot of that or not really?
Yeah, I did. And they were like, you will not surrender. You will not give in. You will not conform. And I heard that a lot in corporate America. Yeah. And I was like, you're right. I won't. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? It was really interesting. And the people that I had around me, I started to get very particular about, because in the beginning, I didn't have people around me that were entrepreneurs or owned companies. Mm-hmm. And so, the first thing was, I saw this. I loved clothing because I always had used clothing, and I wait at the end of driveways for the trash bag to come to me. Mm-hmm. But I saw this clothing store that was for rent. It wasn't a clothing store. My vision of it was a clothing store. It was a storefront in this little town. And I said, I want to open a clothing store. And my mom said to me, who's very supportive of me, but at that time, her paradigm was, well, you'd have to be there 24/7. I said, well, why can't I get people to rent it? And she said, because you can't trust anybody.
Oh, wow.
Oh. And so there were all these paradigms that came with it. And I said, but wait a minute, more than just movie stars and those that are wealthy own multiple businesses.
Right.
That's right.
Like you do. And I saw this when I was looking at all the different examples of things that people were doing out there. And so I didn't get the clothing store. Mm-hmm. But it was probably about 7 or 8 years later that I opened my first company. And people were, sometimes it's the people closest to us.
Absolutely. Well, they don't understand us.
Yeah.
We think differently.
No, well,
I mean, the three of us are dreamers, man. I mean, that's it.
Yes. I think that we hang out with people that are at our understanding a lot of times.
Yes.
This is before I was playing I want to be the least smartest person in the room. And so who do we go to for advice? We go to our friends, we go to our family, we go to those that we hang out with.
Yep.
And so literally, I did get poo-pooing.
Oh.
And how can you open a second business? And how can you open a third or a fourth or fifth or sixth or, and not to say that some didn't fail. Some did.
Right. Yeah, it's like, what you doing now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So I got poo-pooed for that, So yeah, it's really particular who the heck you have around you.
Yes.
I only want people around me that think I'm hotter than peanut butter or popcorn.
That's right, girl.
Right? Girl,
you got that right.
Sister.
You got that right.
You have those moments of doubt. I want a sister in my corner. Well, sometimes it's a guy. It's all right.
Yeah, sometimes.
But I want someone in my corner that goes, you can do this. When my knees are shaking and I'm not sure.
Girl, look, I'm sitting in the studio with one of them because honestly, when I first got started with speaking, I was like, okay, who the heck's going to want to hear my story? And he said, no, you got a good story. Go for it. Yeah. And I dragged my feet for quite a while because I'm like, nobody's going to want to hear my story. I'm going to be really embarrassed and nobody's going to like it.
Yeah.
And the first time I spoke and, people came to me and said that they were touched by it and that, they'd helped them. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes we see the good in somebody else and that they don't see in themselves.
Absolutely.
But you, Sonia, put in the hard work.
Yeah.
And then the speaking took off, and then your book.
Well, yeah.
And you're like, why would I write a book? I'm like, you're going to write a book,
right? And you told me, you said, and if you don't do it, I'm not helping you on anything else. So I did it.
That's right. Shellie, one thing I love that you always say is, you have to have multiple streams of income, no matter what you are.
Oh, yeah.
And no matter what you do, you always have to have multiple streams of income.
Sonia, hustle, baby. Sonia
calls it the hustle. Talk a little bit about that and why it's so important.
Well, I think you also have to play global because different economies accept different things at different times, and they're in different
I love
spaces.
that. Say that again.
But I think it's important to go global because different economies, and different areas of different countries are ready at different times. Mm-hmm. So where the U.S. might be ready, it might roll into Canada. Where Canada might be, already on the crest of whatever it is, the product or service that you're offering, then it might be Malaysia or it might be somewhere else. So I think we have to play a global game.
Love that.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I have to ask, who have been some of your mentors then that have taught you a lot of these things? Have you had a mentor?
I've had many great mentors.
Yeah, I love that.
Many great mentors, and I've been very blessed that way. I've also had a lot of crap happen to me.
Well,
but
well, and that's what I love about how
really
real
believe
she
that's
is.
how
And
you
I
become
told
a
you that,
diamond,
Sonia.
okay?
yeah, it didn't kill you.
No, that's right.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Some of my mentors have been Bob Proctor, Alexander Everett, Warren Buffett. I mean, the list goes on.
Love me some
And
Warren
I believe
Buffett.
in having mentors in different areas. You know, so many people go to a mentor and they go, oh, I'm just going to understudy this, like I want to make monies, but, I'm going to understudy this person for everything. Well, they may be horrible at relationships, but they're great at money.
Right.
So, like understudy people that have that area that you want to learn in, but don't poo-poo your mentor in any other area.
Right.
So you're specifically coming for that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: is motivated and inspiring as you are, when you have those days that you're down, or that life has gotten the best of you, who's that person for you that kicks you in the butt, or or pulls you up and says, "You got to keep going, girl"?
My daughter.
Wow, that's
she
awesome.
is beautiful. I've seen pictures. She's
My
gorgeous.
daughter. Thank you. And, beautiful inside and out. And just a change advocate, and so I wait to see. But that is really one of my people. One of my other people is Les Brown. He's one of my best friends, and we have supported each other, and we call each other, at 3 a.m. and pick up the phone. And you've got to have several of those people. My dad used to say, if you can count the people that you can call on in one hand, like really call on.
Mm-hmm.
I say that all the time.
That's a blessing, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. But I would say my daughter, because she just knows me so well. And so, she'll look at me and be like, she'll call me out.
Yeah.
She'll laugh about things, she'll get me laughing.
Mm-hmm.
We use humor a lot. I think we all take ourselves a little too seriously sometimes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shellie, will you tell the story to Sonia and all the listeners about how you met Les Brown? Because it was, some people would call it an accident, but you put it out there. You put those positive vibes out there in the universe, and it happened. Talk a little bit about that.
It was actually hysterical, and I'll just be kind of vulnerable because, that's what you see with me is what you get. Okay?
That's what I like about you.
Yes.
I was literally in Los Angeles. I wasn't living there yet. I was still in Northern California, and I had gone down to visit a girlfriend, and I was staying at her place. Well, I had gone down there actually for something to speak that they had brought me in for, but I was sitting on her floor in my ripped up jeans, drinking a shot of whiskey, and she played. Everybody laughs because they expect me to just be a wine girl. Okay, don't let the Goldilocks hair fool you. Okay?
All right now.
Anyway,
I like her already.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm sitting on the floor. I'm drinking this shot of whiskey, and she put on just this motivation, whatever, in the background, and I just stopped and I froze, and I was like, whoa, who is that? I love his message. And I just got mesmerized. And I always believe we seek that which we're supposed to find. And so whenever I feel like I'm drawn to something, then I got to go after it. And I was just drawn to what he was saying and his energy and his passion and just who he was. So anyways, I was like, with my little glass, I'm going to meet him. I got to meet him. It's going to happen.
All right.
And then I let it go. About a week later, I get dressed and I go to this event. It's not a lot of people. It's maybe 1,000 people in the room. And I come into the back of this conference and I just froze. And they had 2 people that had walked me in, and I just froze. And I go, that's Les. I go, yeah. I said, no, that's Les Brown. And they go, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we know, lady.
No, you don't understand. That's Les Brown. Right? I'm thinking, are you kidding me?
Right.
So they're
I just
like,
talked him up.
Right? I know. And I had no idea, right? And especially with all of my background, and, just some of the great mentors I had had, it was just interesting. Our paths had never crossed at all. And so they're miking me up and they're like, you're on next. And they get me up to the stage and I get up on the stage. And
so are you saying that Les warmed up for you?
Oh, yes.
Love it.
Yeah. Not everybody can say that.
He's a hard act to follow.
Right? I wouldn't want to do it.
No, thank you, Sonia, right? I know. Wait till you see when you have like this lineup of, you have Bob Proctor, you have Les Brown, you have something else, and then you have you. You're like, really, guys?
I know.
And especially when you're one of the very few women on the platform.
Right.
Yep.
So, and that's another story. But anyways, I get up on the stage and he gets up, I tell the story. And he had sat down just to watch me, and it was really funny. And then he got up on stage and he was talking about manifestation with me, to this group. And we were going back and forth. And then all I know is I walked off stage and he said, can we talk? Walk with me. I said, absolutely. All right. And an incredible friendship started. And, there's people that cross your path. I always believe for a reason. Yep. However, there are certain people that I believe cross our paths at a certain time for certain reasons.
Absolutely. And
it just kind of was one of those moments.
Yeah. And so when you were talking about that, and it's kind of funny because all three of us are probably around the same age. So they were.
I'm not telling.
You were. So you were probably listening to a tape back then, and the younger generation listening to us right now and watching us right now, you probably don't even know what a tape was, but you were probably listening to one of Les's tapes that he had back.
Well, it's probably one of his old tapes, but it was on some radio station.
Oh wow, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and because it was like Joel Osteen and somebody else, and then it was in the background. Wow. And I really wasn't paying attention, but the minute Les started speaking, I was drawn.
Yeah. Absolutely. He has that effect on everybody. I mean, I told you, I've been around him enough that, he does his live feeds every day and stuff like that. He's just an amazing man. Shellie, I love how you're talking about, some of your failures and some of the success that you've had. What advice could you give the men and women watching you and listening to you right now that maybe you wish you would have gotten that advice at some point in your life?
That it doesn't matter your education. It doesn't matter your looks. It doesn't matter if your butt's too big, your butt's too small, how much money you have. You can absolutely be an entrepreneur. You can absolutely have multiple sources of income. You can absolutely have a fulfilling life. Yes. See, because to me, that's really what success is, and I think really having clarity of what you want in your life. Yep. I just want money, or I just want whatever. Well, okay, great. That's wonderful. But that's way up here. Right. That's like in the others. Right. Okay. And so it's great to dream, but successful people understand how to take their vision and their dream and execute into a three-dimensional world, which is what we live in. That's right. And that is to turn it into systems and consumable systems. Yes. And it's never about sales. Right. This is about service. This is the game. The game is, how do we enjoy this journey of life, and how do we literally serve in such a bigger way? And we limit it. I've got to have this much money to start a business. I got to have a business plan. You know what? I got to say it. I really don't like business plans that much, because by the time you open the door, they're useless.
Oh, absolutely.
That's right.
They're so obsolete once they're done.
Coming from a business strategist, people are like, what? You don't want to sell them a business plan? No. Mm-mm. Now, a game plan and the structure to follow, sure.
Way better.
But, and so there are no limits. And look to people that have done it. You know,
That's right.
I mean, you know, I deal with dyslexia. So does my daughter. In school, I memorized how things went. Well, my daughter, they kept saying, well, we want to put you in special classes. Well, by 9th grade, my daughter said, I think I just want to quit school, Mom. I was like, oh.
Wow.
So I went into her teacher, who was just horrible, actually. I was like, no wonder you don't like this lady. I don't like this lady either, okay? She's on a power trip.
You
with
better
these
watch
kids
them.
But literally, you know, she got some help. She worked with it. She did some things. But the bottom line was she ended up she graduated high school a year and a half later and not a GED.
So,
wow.
She literally, because she didn't buy the paradigm of the limiting beliefs. You know, she went into college. She did college 4 years, 2 majors, 1 minor.
Wow.
In 3 years. Now she was working at Capitol Hill as one of the legal team at 22.
All right. Now.
That's amazing.
You know, but it's the limiting paradigms that we see. You know, I have to give up a career for a happy family. I can't have both. Well, why can't you?
That's right. Amen. Listen, I am a huge Discovery Channel watcher. And this week on Discovery Channel, it is Shark Week. Okay, girl? And listen, I've watched your videos of you traveling all over the world. You've done so many cool things. I mean, you have swam with the dolphins. I've seen you with stingrays. I've seen you, you know, I don't know if you've bungee jumped, but I do. What do you call it?
She was repelling. Oh, that's right.
Repelling.
Yes.
I like repelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So have you ever swam with the sharks?
Yes.
It's Shark Week. Have you ever went swimming with the sharks?
I got to tell you, last year I was in Dominican Republic and I brought a group into Dominican Republic. We actually were redoing a school and we raised over 400,000 DR for a cafeteria and some other things. But in the middle of this, we decided we were going to swim with the sharks. Now, those that know me know I hate fish. Okay?
Oh, my God.
Fish. I love deep sea fishing. I like fish on my dinner plate.
Okay.
I like have this phobia about swimming, even when they're pretty. Okay, I have to like calm my heart down and everything, right? So, anyways, we get off this thing and we're swimming for the pen of sharks, and I don't know what they do to the sharks to make them a little tame. I have no clue. I didn't even want to do it. My daughter's like, "Oh, my stomach hurts, Mom. Please go with." All right, fine. She knows I don't like any of this stuff, right? So the whole way, the divers are staying with me because they can tell I don't like any of this.
Okay.
And they're like, just put the mask on and look down. And I'm like, no, I'm good. They're like, no, just put the mask on. So I put the mask on and I look down and the sand, I'm like, okay, it's just sand. It's beautiful because the water's so clear and pretty. And I'm like, okay, I just see. And all of a sudden, the sand starts moving. And I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, no.
Excuse my language. I go, what the heck? Right?
Oh, no.
And I look down. Sorry, Sonia, right?
I am out of here.
Look down, and it's a stingray. Like the biggest stingray I have ever seen. This thing is like 6 feet. And I thought it was just sand.
Whoa.
So I was like, whoa. Now I start to see a shadow. And I'm like, whoa, what's this shadow? And I'm thinking it's my shadow from the sun coming down. And all of a sudden, it goes like this, and there's this big eye.
Oh,
and it
no.
was a shark.
You
would have thought I could walk on water. I was just like, get me out. I'm not even in the pen.
That's it.
Sonia, I'm in open water. Okay?
Girl, listen.
The fish phobia.
Oh, my God. Listen, you didn't have to swim fast, but you had to swim faster than the one behind you. That's all.
And the 2 guys that are with me, the divers, are like, don't move. Stop flailing.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, no, I froze.
Girl.
I was just like one of those little buoyancy bobble things. And they just kind of guided me. I'm like, take me back to the boat. I want the bar. I'm done.
Yes.
I was out.
I wasn't expecting that story at all with her. You know, I thought it was going to be one of those things I just ask her. She says absolutely not.
I thought rappelling was the craziest thing she did.
Or ziplining,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So listen, I was talking to Sonia yesterday, you know, getting ready for the show and stuff like that. And you know, you've traveled all over this world, and in some spots that you've traveled to, let's just say that they haven't been in the best areas. And I have to ask, you know, you're there doing great things, and you're there rebuilding schools and working with hospitals, and you're making swing sets. You're doing all this awesome stuff. But have you ever been in a situation where it got very uncomfortable or scary because you are, you know, in this different place? Because you don't have you know, you don't have police officers and you don't have Secret Service with you or anything like that, do you?
No, I do have security, but not that kind of security.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually when I take a group. When I'm by myself, I don't really worry about it. When you're actually in with people, it's incredible. But yes, no, I've had a couple of hairy situations. One was in Gaza when the revolt broke out, and I was in a hotel in Gaza. And I looked out my window, and it was just an unreal civil scene. So there's a few places I've definitely gone to in Africa, and I do a lot of work in Honduras, which is the second highest murder capita rate in the world.
Girl, I'm telling you, I am a black girl from Detroit, and I am not going where some of those places you've gone to. I'm like, I will be on the other side waiting for you in the getaway car. That's all I can do for you.
No, when I go in a group, actually, Sonia, I'd love to have you come, because when we go in a group, it's always safe.
Okay.
And you know, when you're doing work in the community protects you too.
Beautiful.
It's really unbelievable. And people have said to me, you know, when I'm in the middle of Honduras and I'm walking downtown, and they're like, "You're in our town," and I go, "Yes, I am."
Right.
You're right. And people go, "Oh my gosh, you know, in the middle of Haiti, aren't you afraid? Aren't you this? Aren't you that?" And I go, "Oh."
Wow.
I mean, I've stood in the food lines of India. I've gone all over the world. And, you know, I really wanted to see, I was working for Branson. I was working for Virgin, helping diversify Virgin, the brand. And then I was in Fiji, and I was traveling all over the world, business-wise, as a marketing and business strategist that I am. And I'd see the hotel, the airport, the conference room, and reverse, and then I'd be gone to the next place. And I was like, I really want to go see how the people live here. And I found myself in a village. It started in a village in Fiji. And I'm standing in this village, and they have no health care. They have no clean water. They're living on ground food. The children are sleeping under one mesh mosquito tent because the malaria is so high. And my mom called me, and she said, you okay? And I go, "No, I'm not okay. This is horrible. These children, it's beautiful. They're happy, but they have nothing." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've got to do something." And I literally, that was like one of my first international service projects. I've done a lot in the U.S. and but I started to really look at the world. And the next thing I knew, I got a cab, and I was going back to that same village, and I had gone to the store and bought all this stuff and clothing and school stuff and all this, you know, these goodies. Yeah. And I went back, and they all came out, and they just, it was, I'm still friends with them to this day.
Wow.
And
you're going to make me cry.
But the next time,
that's why I'm just sitting
cut
there.
it out.
So cool.
That next day, you know, I had a compound there. And so I had 4 buildings, 2 pools, all this beautiful stuff. And I had my film crew with me, and I had people with me. And, you know, every day we would go, "What are you doing?" "I'm going jet skiing. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing this." "And where are you going?" "I'm going back to that village."
Wow.
And then the third day, the cab came, or the driver came, and they all wanted to come with me. And I was like, now we're like 8 people. Yeah. And it just started going from there, you know, and now it's like, if I look at it, when I'm very humbled, I always think it's spirit's work, you know, and I always follow that. I think especially as women, we have a bluebird on our shoulder that has this little voice, you know, and so
that really
guides
leads
us.
Yeah, that leads into a question I wanted to ask you, because, you know, you do have multiple income streams, and John calls what you do now a movement, which I think is so perfect. But how did you know? How did you know that idea was going to be a good one? How did you know that it would bear fruit?
Yeah.
I didn't at first. Mm-hmm. I didn't at first. I went with my passion, and I went with what called to me. Yeah. And, you know, whenever we go with our passion or what calls to us, our higher purpose, I call it, and I think everybody knows it. Yeah. You know, people say they don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
You know, that it's a renewable energy source. Yeah. And I just went with it. And, you know, I joke about it. I go, I was the crazy lady that thinks I can change the world, or that I can bring positive progress and change to future
And you are,
generation.
Shellie, one person at a time.
That's right.
And that's exactly what you're doing.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
you are. It's amazing. Yeah. Go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt, but you are.
Mm-hmm.
But the multiple streams of income. Let me get back to the business side, because I know, Sonia, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off there.
No, you do you, girl.
Any product that you have can be multiple streams of income.
Mm-hmm.
Any product that you have can be diversified into multiple products, and it can be distributed in multiple ways.
Okay.
You know, and I think it's very important to go, who am I marketing to, and not just say everybody. Again, that's way up here.
That's the
right?
toughest
and
part.
So, right. And there is a reason for that. When I worked for Time Warner, one of the things that we did is we did a lot of target marketing just for that reason. You know, and I even did Trump University, but I'm not going to really talk about that today.
Thanks.
Okay, this is before all that weird stuff. I really just ran his internet team, you know, for marketing and other things. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. And I was a consultant. Right. I came and I went. Okay,
we got you.
To be clear.
We got you.
I wasn't under the umbrella for very long. Okay? But, you know, and especially today, like, you can use Instagram. You know, I mean, you got to look at what are the 2 highest generational things in the world, especially in the country that you're in. Okay, so you got to do a little bit of your homework on the country. But in the U.S., we have 2 generations. We have the baby boomers and the millennials.
Right.
That's your largest target market. And so, you know, if you're going to do a service or a product, and you're going to diversify to both of those so in other words, the baby boomers are on Facebook, the millennials are on Instagram and TikTok.
Right.
You need to know that. And then how can I gear those commercials or those services and messaging to those people? You know, the other thing is, you don't have to love a business. Right. I have had businesses that I don't love,
Girl,
but have
me
made
too.
money, and that's okay. Stop thinking that you've got to be in love with your business.
Right.
And
that's right.
in the very beginning, any business that's set up should be set up to be able to be sold
Yes.
from the very beginning. I don't care, even if it's your baby. Like, Women in Global Change is my baby. It just is, right? I have this personal thing with it. Because I've been offered people wanted to buy it a couple times, and I was like, I'm not ready yet, you know? But yeah, just not, you know? I may be at some point, because, you know, we really want a business to survive beyond our lifetime.
Yes.
We want a purpose to survive beyond our lifetime.
That's right.
We want it to be that big. And then the other thing is, so many people go, well, this is my purpose, and they play like, I was a musician years ago, and you know, I there was this mentality of being a starving musician, and there's this mentality of being a starving nonprofit, and so those are all limits. That's all BS, right? So you can actually make money doing what you love. Like, and serving in a bigger way. And people put things into boxes. This is my home life. This is my work life. This is my this. This is my that. Instead of, this is who I am.
Yes.
And discovering humbly who I am, and always learning, and always being a servant leader. And I bring myself to every part of what I do. Yes. That's why it's kind of like with me, what you see is what you get.
Yep. That's why I love you. Seriously. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Shellie, just real quick, I want to, just something you said, you know, you can make a living doing with what you love. Mm-hmm. Or what you have a passion for.
Yes.
Don't limit yourself. So if you're watching right now and you say, well, I can't. Well, guess what? You're going to fail because you already said you can't.
You already said it.
So start thinking like Shellie does, like Sonia does, like I do, and get into it. Come up with the idea. It doesn't have to be the greatest idea. It can be, you have to start with an idea. You can't run before you walk.
That's right.
You can't walk before you crawl. You have to do all those things. So it's okay to fail. If you have listened for the last 45 minutes, what Shellie has said over and over again is it's okay to fail. Yep. But eventually you're going to succeed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I love that. I love that analogy. So thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I have to make sure that everybody understands that. Well, it's okay.
I love that too because, with all the changes and everything, I'm homeschooling a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And oh my God, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I am at home. How am I going to earn a living, teach my baby what she needs to know, and not lose my mind in losing myself from the things I love.
That's right.
I built a voiceover studio in the basement.
You've done it all.
That's what I did. And I've had my first couple of clients, and I can do that in between baby girl getting her lesson or me putting her down to go to sleep, and all is good. So when people say I can't because of this, it's like, no, you just got to figure out a way around it.
That's right. And there is no time limit either.
No.
Because at time, and this because of the speaking business, you have to put the time in.
Absolutely.
It doesn't just happen.
No.
And if it just happens, it's not the right thing to do.
Oh, and you won't hold on to it.
And you won't hold on to it, exactly. I've said to you many times, Sonia, and I know that I said it to Shellie the other day, I surround myself with good people because I want to climb to the top of the mountain.
That's right.
But when I get to the top of the mountain, I want to bring everybody with me because I want to have a party at the top.
That's right.
I don't want to be up there by myself and say, look what I did.
Yes. I love what you do.
No, I think so, Shellie. I can't thank you enough. So a question just came in on social media, and they want to know. This has got to be. I hope it's a girl. How many pair of shoes do you actually have now? Because you said in the very beginning you had one pair at a time. So this person wants to know how many pair of shoes can you actually tell us that you own to this day?
Over 250.
Shut up, girl.
But you know what? Here was the thing with it, and I have a pink shoe room, which is really funny. My daughter was like, "When did that happen?"
I'm my God.
I found myself with one pair of shoes at a time as a kid, as you said, and most of them were bought by somebody else, or they were used. And in my 20s, I found myself in the shoe department in Target. I was house shopping just for supplies, and I just froze. And I was like, what the heck am I doing here? And that's when it hit me. I was like, wow, I carry this thing about shoes. Like that's my security, right? Is shoes.
Hey.
And I think we all have something if
Absolutely.
you listen and pay attention, but I had a girlfriend when I was a kid that lived next door that didn't have a lot of food, and she'd come over and eat at our house all the time. And, well, not our house, our basement apartment. Yeah, right. All right. But she'd come eat with us. And, to this day, if, the Walking Dead hit, we could all eat at her, in her pantry. Because that's her security.
Yep.
So it's but 250. I have a lot of shoes.
I love that. And another social media question just came in, and that is, with everything you own and everything you do, how do you manage stress? As a businesswoman or as an entrepreneur, how do you manage stress?
I laugh a lot. I use my humor, okay? But this really incredible mentor taught me something one time. And she was great. She said to me, because I said, you're handling all this stuff. How do you do this? Like, this is so much. And she goes, I picture this big tray in front of me. She goes, what does your tray look like? I go, well, it's china, and it's like really big and kind of oval and ornate. She goes, can you see it? Can you visualize it? I said, yeah. And she goes, okay, now there's piles on the tray. There's something on the tray and these little piles. And these are all the things that you have to do. And maybe it's with all the companies, personal, whatever. But this is my day. Mm-hmm. And she goes, what do you see? I say, I see little piles of poo. She goes, well, that's the first problem. Okay. She goes, it's your viewpoint. You're seeing that it's all crap you got to deal with. And I was like, yeah, pretty much. Wow. And she goes, I said, what do you see? She said, little croissants.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay, well, that's definitely different than what I'm seeing right now.
Right.
And she goes, and I just deal with what I have to deal with today. And then what I do is I take the tray and I put it away. And I spend time with the family, or I spend time with the kids, or because so many times when you're a high caliber entrepreneur, and even when you're not, when you're a startup entrepreneur, even when you're a mother, because being a mother was the hardest job I've ever signed up for. Okay, it is.
Tell it, girl.
Sonia, I'm feeling for you with that homeschool thing, right?
Lord.
But I would have all this chatter, you know, in the back of my head. And one time I did this. My daughter said, "Will you have a tea party with me?" And I said, "Sure." I was at my desk, my home desk, and this is years ago. She was little, and then she came to the end of the desk and she goes, I'm a juggling clown.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, what the? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I look like to her right now.
Wow.
And I thought about it. I was like, well, I kind of am right now. It's true. And then she says, come have a tea party. I said, okay, fine. So I sit down with her. Sorry, my little phone beeped here. Whatever that was. Okay. So I sit down with her and she gets all the tea stuff out. And she's like, Mom, be here with me. No, she goes, Mom, have a tea party. And I go, I am. I'm here.
Wow.
Mom, have a tea party. Mom, have it with me.
Out of the mouths of babes.
That's right. I think we've all been there before.
And all of a sudden, it hit me, Sonia. There was all this stuff. My mind was still on my desk. My mind was still on the phone calls. My mind was... And women, we're the worst. Men, you know, they're like, I'm hungry.
Yeah, they compartmentalize very easily.
That's it.
Yes, very easily.
They do. But us, we're like, I got to bake the cookies for your thing tomorrow. I got to do this for today. I got to do this right now. I got to call the electrician. I got to do this back here. I got to do this. I got to, like, we're all over the place. And I really stopped and went, whoa, I am missing this, which is most important to me.
Yes. That's right.
And so, you know, so many times, and I joke about it, but it's one of my sayings, business is meant to free us from the chains that bind us, not so we are bound by the chains of a business.
You go, girl.
Why do we get into business? Is to provide.
Yes.
That's right.
Right? It's to, you know, but at the same time, how much is enough, right?
That's right.
And, you know, don't miss those moments. You can't get those moments back.
You got that right.
So just a quick question, because we are literally down to like 2.5 minutes. And can men join Women of Global Change?
Absolutely. And it's so funny. I've had this asked to me like 3 times in the last 24 hours. Yes, they absolutely can. We have a male chapter president in Chicago. On our international summits, if you look, you'll see 40%, 35 to 40% are men. Les Brown is an ambassador. Clinton Swain is an ambassador. Michael Drew is an ambassador. There's a lot of ambassadors. Mark Victor Hansen.
Awesome.
Quite a few men play with us. And somebody said, well, is it because their wives drag them? No. Sometimes they actually drag their wives and they bring the whole family. Because they love that we do like this youth initiative inside third world countries and all sorts of things. But yes, absolutely. And then people said, well, why don't you rename it? And I said, because it just was
No,
what it
I love
was.
it.
And
I love the
name.
Exactly.
I love the name.
They playing with you. You ain't playing with them.
That's right. And Shellie, just real quick, how can people follow you on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram. It's Shellie Hunt 1, which is SHELLIE Hunt HUNT #1. There I am. Yes. Or Twitter is the same. I have multiple Facebooks, or you can always contact me at the Women of Global Change.
I love it. Sonia, closing remarks?
I just want to say thank you. It has been such a pleasure, and this time has sped by. I'm so sorry.
I know. We need to do this another 2 or 3 hours.
Sonia,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Sonia, I want to connect with you off of here.
Oh, I would
can
love
just
that.
tell you're like one of those strong sisters. And
Let's do it. Let's do it, Mama.
I told you to that you guys would love each other.
I'm so happy right now.
I love it
already.
Yes.
I love it. Shellie, I can't thank you enough for joining us right here on the podcast. And we definitely will have you back on to do another hour.
Yes.
And because there's so much more to talk about.
Yes.
I mean, you knew it too, Sonia.
I know.
Business. How's that?
That's right. We'll just talk about business.
Okay.
But thanks again, Shellie. And Sonia, I
Tom.
can't thank you enough for, please tell Mark that I said thank you for letting you out of the house for an hour.
Listen,
or 2.
he's probably on the golf course, whatever.
Thanks for listening to the Outstanding Life Podcast. Follow Johnny D on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Motivational Cowboy. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, advertise, or would like to make a donation, please visit motivationalcowboy.com. And remember to have an outstanding day.